Welcome to the Rock Shop with Ralph, your source for all things entertainment. Tonight, we have legendary bassists from Whitesnake, Lizzy, Black Star Riders, Dead Daisies, and wait, I don't believe this. I don't believe this. Alias. Alias.
Yeah. I thought you were going to say something else. That's great.
Oh, there's so many, but that's just a description. Mi hermano, Marco Mendoza.
¿Cómo está, Raúl? Rafael, Ralph.
Todo bien, hermano. Está haciendo.
Awesome.
All right. I need closed captioning because most people don't know that I'm a little fluent in Spanish. But that's okay.
Bravo.
I was speaking to Alex Von Craven, the drummer, the other day, and he was laughing. But anyway,
it's
super excited to have you.
Good to be here.
Well, live. I'm checking it, and it's on my Facebook page. And it's going to be broadcast to your page. So I know you're a little bit jet lagged from coming in from Denmark, of all places.
Yeah.
So, I mean, how you feeling otherwise? Everything going good over there in sunny California, right?
Actually, here in California, it's gorgeous, man. It's just amazing. The view is, the sun is great. It's a little windy. It's a little bit of chill in the air, but can't complain. But funny enough, a place like Denmark, Scandinavia, was, 80% of the year, they're freezing, right? I got there and I was there for 7-8 days and it was gorgeous, man. Still a little chill in the air, but
I got to try that. I got to do the cool thing like you're doing.
Oh,
but I don't have the hair. Necesita peluca. Yeah, all right. But go ahead. I'm listening.
Well, it's a wig, brother. It's a wig.
It's a wig? And for all you wondering what I said I need a wig.
No, so yeah, it was cool, man. It was a good trip. But I was going to say, as far as the jet lag's concerned, I've been jet lagged for as long as my career. Man.
Your whole career, right?
I'm one of those guys, and you see a lot of people that have been doing it for 10 years, 20 years, and they say, "I'm over it, man. I got used to it. I just deal with it." I try to, and I like to think positive and be, proactive about it. But the body, man, it's just. All these different time zones. It's just a trip. That's part of the job.
Right.
So you do the best. Well, I've seen some pictures out there, man.
I got my fans coming in. I just got to, So, hey, Emil, what's up? Mari's up. We got a lot of all coming in. They want to see the legend, Marco Mendoza. Oh, wow. And you got to see the girls. We're going all gaga over you, Marco.
Oh, that's good, I guess. my wife says that's good. There's still inventory in the shop.
Hey, listen, right? She's a lucky person.
She's very smart. Yeah, she is. And so am I.
And we're going to talk about her because we spoke about your latest project. But we're going to start from the beginning. So yes. We're going to do a little retrospective of your career. Now, I was joking before about the band you were associated with. And I'm not joking, meaning that they were a joke. Just joking that I couldn't believe it when I found out. Cool. You were in the Alias.
Why are they a joke? They're a great band, man. Amazing.
No, I didn't say they were a joke. I said I was joking.
Oh, you were joking about it.
Yeah. They had that song, When I'm With You, has number one, and it's well over 1 million downloads.
Yes. And it's still doing great. And
right.
Those guys, when I met those guys, I met them through I went blank. Anyway, it'll come later. I met them through, we all
the Heart.
live in the same circle.
The Heart backing band was in that band when they started it.
Exactly. So there was a connection with, I think my friend Kevin Cloud connected me with their tour manager. Kevin Cloud, great drummer here in LA. Him and I were very close friends. He says, these guys want to meet you. They're checking out bass players and rhythm section. And so I went out and I met their tour manager and tech and manager and everything.
The LeBrain train is here. Sorry.
Don Burton. And so they were great guys. And just the fact that they were so cool about it. I got really interested. In those days, I got to say, Ralph, in those days, I was doing a lot of session work. And now these days it's coming up. I see postings of it and I'm like, I'm freaking out because I don't remember. I never kept track, you know?
Yeah, that was one of the questions I wanted to ask you because, you got your start around that time. What was that, like 89, 90, 91?
Well, I got sober in 87. I played before, right?
Yeah, well, of course. Yeah, you played around.
I did some work that I was, but the reality was this: I was a mess because I was really under the influence of drugs and alcohol, and my life had become unmanageable. My career had become unmanageable. I was coming out of 2 marriages, kids, divorces,
Wow.
everything you can imagine.
And I just want to say, I don't mean to interrupt you. I want to make this known. Marco is very proud of his sobriety. He's been sober for well over 35 years.
Yes.
Congratulations, brother.
Thank you, brother. September 20th will be 35 years, and it's a blessing. But anyway, so I marked the calendar September 20th, 87, because that's when it was a rebirth of sorts, where you wake up. You know what sobriety is about, man. I woke up and I was a new person. I was focused. I was determined. I realized what a gift it was to play music for a living, and I had just wasted all that time, and I took it for granted. So, I had a different attitude about the whole thing. I call it the attitude of gratitude, which is the 12-step program thing. But I could really identify with that because to this day, when I wake up in a good place and I have the attitude of gratitude in my head, in my heart, in my being, everything is fine, bro. I mean, the pandemic could be just killing and destroying.
Nothing. You get it off,
but
you brush it off.
You're centered. Man, I don't need to tell you, our industry got hit the hardest.
And it's very hard. We were talking before, to be in the business, growing up, in the 80s, when you had drugs everywhere, I mean, it's a Motley Crue video every day of the week.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And to walk a fine line, it's very, very hard. For you to do that for 35 years, it's amazing. That's a story in itself.
Yeah, it is, man. And one of these days I'm going to do something.
Write a book.
Maybe document it a little bit for whoever's interested.
Absolutely. So, I mean, Alias, very quickly, because I don't want to. Anyway, the band was called Sheriff. Yes. And they had a hit called When I'm With You. It wasn't, they re-released the song under the name Alias, and it shot up to number 1.
Yeah,
that's the story with Alias, and then they got dropped by the record label, and I mean that guy's living off that song for the rest of his life.
Yes, those 2 guys. Yes,
yes,
DeMarchi and Fred Kirchie.
Yeah. Fred Kirchie, right? So my first foray into Marco Mendoza was in one of my favorite bands from the 80s, Blue Murder.
Blue Murder.
I mean, John Sykes. Yes. Well, you came in on the Nothing But Trouble album.
That's the second album.
Yeah. The second one where it got shelved. They got a raw deal because the climate changed. I mean, we all know the fucking, excuse my language, but I can curse.
That's all right. That's all right.
The climate changed. Carmine and Tony, Appice and Franklin were involved very little. They had Osteen. Yeah. They had Osteen. And they had a different lineup. I still think it's a great album. I really do.
Osteen, yeah. The writing, the bottom line, the center of that project, and I'll tell you, when I heard that album for the first time, I'm a big Fretless fan, first of all.
That was one of the questions I had.
I was in those days, I was playing Fretless exclusively when I got back to the music scene in a sober way. I came to LA and I started doing a lot of work for Fretless work. That was like my way of getting on the radar. So when I heard Blue Murder and I heard Tony Franklin playing beautifully, man, and then Carmine, who's an amazing drummer, and then John singing and playing, and the songs were killer. That album, Blue Murder, was massive. Geffen. So here I am. So think about this. So I'm doing a lot of sessions, and I could drop names. I won't do that, but I'm getting called here, getting called there, and I'm doing a lot. And then I have a Tuesday night at this club in the Valley called La Belle. Some people might remember, with Joey Heredia on drums, and finally with Renato Neto on keyboards, who ended up playing with Prince. So we had a little club. It's 120 capacity, right? Think about this. And every time we played, my words the words got out. And we were doing something right because it was getting packed, and we would play 2 sets. And it was getting packed that the fire marshal would come in every Tuesday. I'm not kidding you. It became one of those things. So when something like that's happening, the word gets out. And I could drop names again of the people that were coming in and sitting in and playing. And it was a big hang. So all of a sudden, I see this blonde cat coming in. And I recognized it was John Sykes. So just before we started set, so we started playing. And I just said, hello, how are you? I hadn't met him before. And he was there with Tommy Osteen and his wife, Jennifer. And Nick Green, R.I.P., man. He passed away.
Yeah.
Great cat. So I finished the first set. We played about an hour and 15 set, and we take a half an hour break, and then come back and do the last set. And then he started walking to me. He said, hi, I'm John Sykes. How are you, bro? Pleasure meeting. I'm a big fan. I love that album. Blah, blah. It's just, yeah, that's great. I need a bass player.
Oh,
and the word was out that you are the guy. I won't keep you, but give me a call. This is a phone number, and let's hook up.
And
that was it.
I got a question, but this goes to show you the scope of having Marco Mendoza on this show. We just got a hello from Ecuador, and it's in Spanish, so it says, saludos desde Quito, Ecuador, querido amigo Marco Mendoza.
Alfredo Carvajal, muchos abrazos, mi hermano.
All right. Hola, Alfredo. Okay. Awesome, Marco. That's awesome. Yeah. So now, as a fan, they released that album, and what happens?
The album got released. We went to Japan. It was a complete success out there.
Yeah, but here,
big fan base, huge. I mean, I'm not kidding. We couldn't walk the streets. It was like over the top because John had been planting a lot of seeds there. His history with Lizzy, with Whitesnake, et cetera, and it was a big release, Geffen. So we went out there and go, wow, this is going to be insane. And I really loved playing with John and Tommy. The fact that I could play a fretless bass in a rock band was like, you know what I mean? When you're passionate about something. So long story short, then we come to the States and start putting the tour together. It was 93. And what was happening in 93? Nirvana.
Yeah. 91, yeah.
Well,
and the big G word, grunge.
Yeah. And what label?
Geffen.
And we were on Geffen.
Of course.
So the rest is history.
It's like with Janie Lane. I had Joey Allen on the show.
Same thing.
From Warrant. And he said he knew his time was up in Warrant. Thank God they're still together. But he said he knew his time was up when he went. He said when they got signed in 89, they had a huge poster of Warren on the wall. He went back in 92 to talk to one of the executives, and they had Alice in Chains up on the wall. He said that right then and there, I know we were done.
What happened to us? We were in the middle of a tour, man. We were out there, and I'm not kidding you. Once you cross the Mississippi, on the other side, it died. We had no promotion, marketing, nothing. The ticket sales started going. It was so obvious. And John just called us and said, let's just go home.
Let's just go home. Now, I got a question about that. Here we go. We got somebody from Mexico. This is awesome. Hola, cabrones. That's a bad word.
Monterrey, Mexico.
Yeah.
Viva La Rock.
From Mario Lee, Rock. Hola, cabrones. Saludos desde Monterrey, Mexico.
Saludos,
Mexico.
Mario Lee.
Viva La Rock. Okay. Mario Lee. Yeah, so I got a question about Sykes.
Yes.
The rumor was that he really didn't. The guy had an amazing voice. Who the hell knew? Just like yourself.
Thank you.
Who knew that he could sing that way? And I heard on the second album he didn't want to sing anymore.
He didn't.
He didn't, right?
He didn't want to sing. The story goes. Remember, I came in after the fact.
Right.
He came and told me, Marco, I'm like 4 or 6 months behind schedule. I got to deliver this album. All the songs have been written. Tony played on some tracks. I don't know which ones I'm going to keep, but I would rather you come and play and replace. I don't know what happened, and I don't want to know. It's all.
You don't want to know. You got hired, and that's what you did.
I got hired, and yeah, exactly. And I came in, and he's got a studio in his pad in Northridge there, and we had a blast. We just had a blast doing it. So for me, it was like a plus.
Right.
Playing with John. I was very curious of what happened exactly, and I'm finding out later. And there's three sides to the story. It's like I don't want to know, man. I've been through it all. It has to do with business and money and egos. And all that.
Here's another question I have for him, and then we'll move on.
But to answer your question about the singing, originally, if you notice, there's a track with Kelly Keeling singing.
Yes.
He was the cat that ended up, he auditioned before I came in. He auditioned cats, and there's a lot of names that went through. And he vibed with him. They did 3 or 4 songs, I think, and he kept one great singer, great player, great musician, talented cat. And then we end up going with John.
Right.
It's a 3-piece plus. He called keyboards on this with a side of keyboards, Nick Green. And but we had a blast. The songs were great. Your career went on the fast track after that. Right there, exactly. The reason for that was John's coming from Thin Lizzy, Tigers of Pantang, Whitesnake, just to name a few.
Yeah.
And I was doing a lot of cool stuff, but
Thin Lizzy.
Well, no, that came after. The reason I ended up doing Thin Lizzy was because of John.
Well, I thought you said John Sykes because Tigers and Pantang and Whitesnake, but he was in Thin Lizzy.
He introduced me to the boys.
Right, that's how you got it afterwards.
The story was, I was going to say, the Blue Murder thing was we would do a few, all the songs that he'd written. He's got a catalog of songwriting that's just amazing. It's a great songwriter, period. That's it. No denying. The proof is in the pudding, right? So
the guy.
So on the set, we would do some Thin Lizzy tracks that he wrote with Phil. We would do some Whitesnake tracks that he wrote with Coverdale. And then, we would do the Blue Murder stuff, a few covers. We were having a blast. For me, it was like, very cool, man. This is a great job. So, yeah, I got on the map, got on the radar, and things started flying after that. But before that, bro, I have to say, because it has to do with sobriety, one of the biggest steps that I got into the industry, a hand, if you will, was through sobriety. I had a 1.5 years of sobriety. I was doing meetings in Orange County here where I live. And I was going to meetings, and Bill Ward was doing meetings. And we had musicians, like whatever, high profile celebrity, whatever you want to call it, on Monday nights. And,
Bill Ward was one of them. He was sober about 8 years that time. I think he got sober at 81, 82.
He had some time. And he would share, I would share. And, for me, it was like talking about how I missed my music and I missed my career and how I'd stepped all over it and I didn't appreciate it. And it would be nice to someday. So he came after a meeting. He says, Marco, I'm Bill Ward. I know who you are, brother. And he says, I'm doing my first solo album. I would love for you to be part of it. I'm trying to surround myself with sober people. And he told me the studio, gave me a date a few weeks later. He says, come in, bring your bass. I didn't have a bass. I didn't have it. Bro, I got into sobriety with zero sanity.
But you had today.
Yes, and I had today, and I worked a little bit. I was doing some side gigs. I bought a bass for $300-400. I set it all up, and I started, boom. I showed up to the session, and I ended up playing on 5, 6, 7 tracks. I don't know how many to this.
On Bill Ward's solo album, Ward 1.
Yes, and that's where John, because we did a lot of press, that's where John, the name pinged, that he knew that I could play a little bit on rock.
He said he played with Bill Ward. We got to check this guy out.
So,
and that led to that.
Because the Lava League gig that I was doing was more of a fusion, funk, Latin jazz thing. There was a lot of notes. I was playing a 6 fretless bass. I was all over the place, soloing. And a lot of people came to that gig, and I lost a lot of opportunities because they would go, I don't know, man. This guy's all over the place. They didn't understand that I could apply myself.
Right.
Get a fretted bass, a 4 or 5, whatever's needed, and play it. So that's what
So like we said, you got sober, good decisions, get good results. You got Bill Ward, you got that gig, which led to John Sykes.
Yes.
One question I have for Sykes, then we're going to move on.
Edgar Winter. I'm going to drop some names. Edgar Winter. I did some work with Al Jarreau. So on and so forth. So many. Chaka Khan would come in and sit in with us at Lava League.
Right.
And so many cats. I could drop names.
Yeah. Like I said, his career as long as yours, we could stay here for hours. We'll save the other parts for the next interview, Mark.
Yeah.
So regarding Sykes, because you played with both Sykes and you played with Coverdale, which we're going to get to.
Yeah.
What do you think happened with him and David, I mean, business-wise, I have to assume.
Yeah.
I'm not going to get too personal.
No,
But
that's fine.
as a fan, I mean, I would kill to see that lineup again. I really
Me
would.
too. Me too.
And David's calling it a career soon because I'm always hearing about his farewell tours he's putting out. But what do you think?
I'll tell you honestly, and I've worked with both those guys, and I consider them my friends, and I hope they consider me the same. I don't know. We talk from time to time. I talk with David, here and there. He's a busy cat, and with John, even more often. But I would say if you're outside looking in, not taking into consideration the work and all that, the intimacy, the friendship, you have two alpha
bullheaded guys.
Yeah, you have alpha
toros,
omegas, toros. You have two, and they're so talented. They have so much. And I understand when I do my solo thing, that personality that has to kick in to have a little bit of control, because otherwise it becomes one of these things. I would say that's part of it. And maybe a few other things happen along the way and we're not forgiven. I don't know. I hear stories from everybody.
I couldn't believe at the time he released two of the best albums that he ever came out with Slide It In and the Whitesnake album.
Yeah.
Sold millions and millions and millions of records. And he fires everyone and goes with the replacements, And that's like a bridge that's been burned. They've never been associated with each other since.
We tried. I was on tour with Ted Nugent, and I had done the Into the Light album.
Great album.
It's amazing, man. I had a blast with all those.
Love is Blind.
Yes.
Love that song.
Did that album, and so we started talking, DC and I, and a lot of names came up, and I was bringing the fact that I was working with John, and he was really cool about it. You think that would be a good move? I said, absolutely, man. That's something you really gotta consider, So he called me to get his number. I called John. I said, John, David's gonna call you. So I was in there somewhere. Same thing happened with Tommy Aldridge. And I'm not saying this to get credit, but those are the facts. Because I was
amazing player, 70 years old, still kills it.
Killing it. All these cats, man.
Right?
All these cats. I mean, DC is busier than ever. The tours are more successful than ever. The catalog, the songs, legendary status. It's like,
and wow. I love it. This is our music, Marco.
And Tommy and I have been busy because we also are session guys, so we do a lot of stuff together and apart. But he's busy.
And there's a secret project happening in the works with Tommy and Joel Hoekstra, but we won't say anything. It's not a secret anymore.
It's not,
but we'll talk about it.
Yeah, but the only cat that's missing in this conversation that should be out there, and I told him, is John. John needs to get out there.
Right.
But it's his business, his choice, and you never know. You never say never. I would love to see, and this is from the bottom of my heart, being totally. I would love to see him, Carmine, and Tony just go out there and do a handful of dates and just reminisce.
Really, Coverdale,
John Sykes.
Oh,
Blue Murder.
Yeah, well, now, see, Carmine
I know.
Is a friend of the show.
Yeah.
He always says, X John, because Carmine's willing to do it. I know Tony's all over the place. Tony would play in a heartbeat.
Yes.
Tony's coming on, thank God, hopefully in a couple of months. But,
also,
yeah.
Say hello. He's a good friend. But
I will.
At the end of the day, Rafael, pardon, I'm sorry. My Spanglish got confused. Rafael. At the end of the day, you have to respect the music and what they accomplished.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Same thing with DC and John Sykes, man.
That's what I'm talking about. In the grand scheme of things,
powerful.
His albums, his record speaks for itself. I mean, he rests on his laurels. He doesn't put out a lot of stuff, But
who's this? John?
John, yeah.
Yeah.
My friend.
The last thing we did was then Lizzy. That's the last thing he did.
Right, but I was reading he has a deal and he has a solo album and it was supposed to come out with it, but I guess because of COVID, it stopped everything. I just got to say hello to some people because we got a lot of your fans coming in.
Please.
Alfredo, I'm going to ask him that question towards the end of the interview when we get to the Daisies.
Eric Fernandez.
Eric Fernandez, hello.
Wow.
Scott Thomas, Mike Rascio, Art Calenda, Emil Slavic. I can go on and on. If I miss somebody, I'm sorry. I'll get to you.
Hello, everybody.
Sal D'Elia. So, Thin Lizzy.
Yes.
Now, I'm going to try to keep these questions together because I know you had 3 stints. Whether you want to call him Thin Lizzy, I'm going to call him Thin Lizzy. And you were instrumental in you toured with them, with John, with Jimmy DeGrasso, among many others, and you toured with them for years.
Yes.
And then,
can I add to that? I actually got lucky enough to tour with the original lineup minus Phil.
Right, with Downing.
Just Scott Gorham, Brian Downey, Darren Wharton, John Sykes, and myself. And that was
not many people can say that.
No. And we took it, I think we were taking it too far, and the whole thing Brian was the first one to say, you guys, I'm out. I don't want to be all over the place. It's too much.
Yeah. And
then he came back. So Tommy came in. Tommy Aldridge came in then.
Tommy Aldridge.
And Tommy's a pile driver. Amazing, man. But so there's a few lineup changes. Yeah, of course. Needless to say. I ended up with the last lineup in 2010, I believe we started, with Scott Gorham, Vivian Campbell, Ricky Warwick fronting, Darren Wharton, and Brian Downey. And that was killer too. Amazing. We had a blast.
Yeah. So what I want to say, I'm trying to condense it because I could talk a whole hour about Thin Lizzy.
Yeah.
You toured with them for years, and you were instrumental in forming Black Star Writers.
Yes.
Out of respect for the name Thin Lizzy name, Scott Gorham wanted to record new music, and he felt it was disrespectful and detrimental to use the Thin Lizzy name, where he was the only surviving member that was going to be involved with it.
After Brian left, because Brian was
after Brian left. So he comes up with Black Star Writers.
Yeah,
that album stands the test of time. That was a very good album, very well produced. I have to say
All hell breaks loose.
All hell breaks loose, and Ricky Warwick.
Yes,
this guy's got Phil down pat.
Yes, yeah.
A little different nuances. Nobody can replace Phil.
Kevin Shirley production.
Kevin Shirley, who's been around for years. He did a lot of grunge albums. He did Candlebox.
Yes.
He worked
the best. The best, bro. The best.
But that was a very, very well produced album.
It was.
I mean, I got to say that. So, you're touring the world with Thin Lizzy. What are some of the highlights on the tours that you did with them? Thin Lizzy, Black Star Writers. We'll just condense.
Okay. For me, Thin Lizzy, the first time we were touring Japan with Blue Murder with John and Udo Artist, the promoter, the biggest promoter in Japan.
Oh yeah,
has this ritual every time you do a tour. He'll have you come to one of his places and you do the Kobe beef. It's like a whole ritual, very fancy, like the best steak you've ever had in your life. La la la. And I'm sitting here, John's here, and Udo's right up front. And he's talking to John. Apparently, he had a great relationship with Phil Lynott. They were good friends. They stayed in touch. He had a lot of respect for him, and he was mourning him. He was saying, I'm sorry he's not here with us, but I see you're doing some Lizzy tracks on the set. Have you stayed in touch with the boys? This is verbatim what was happening. I said, yeah, I talked to Scott and Brian and Darren here and there. We talk from time to time. And he said, this is exactly what I said. Why don't you think about putting all the boys together and we'll do a run and pay tribute to Phil? That's exactly what he said. And I'm listening and I'm eating the most magnificent steak that you've ever had in your life. I'm like in another place. I'm not even business. I'm not thinking, but I'm going, cool. So we came home and I took it with a grain of salt. I'm like, just moving on. And I think a couple of months or a month, 6 weeks, something like that passed. And then John calls me, says, Marco, this thing in Japan with the boys is coming together. And I put your name in the mix. I want you to meet the boys and play. So he says, get ready. I'll give you the date here soon. He didn't call it an audition, but it was, for me, it was an audition. Because if I didn't get along, it didn't hit it, didn't do the right thing or sound right or whatever. Right. So this is when Tower Records was still around, man. I went and got a whole pile of Thin Lizzy videos and VHS and vinyl and CDs and everything I could get. And I started chopping and I learned a lot, man. I mean, you know, those are the things that you learn along the way that kind of reflect in your career because you grab this, you grab that, and I learned a lot about Phil, how he played his approach thing, and now you have the original cat that recorded all the tracks on drums. I'm like,
right.
so I had a blast. I think I memorized kind of like 20 tracks, 21 tracks, and then I wrote some deep cuts. I wrote some charts, just notes, just to have just. And I'm glad I did because Brian was really checking me out, and so we played like 10, 15 tracks, and it took the whole day.
Yeah, to be in the band and you're replacing a legend on the bass, you know.
But I never look at it that way.
Right, I know you're doing your own thing, but I'm just saying there has to be times where you're saying to yourself, I'm fucking playing what Phil Lynott was playing, you know. I gotta play.
If you let it, bro, it will do a number. And by then, I learned not to do that. You're a pro cat. You come in, they needed a bass player. I hope it's me. I'll do my work, my homework. I prepare, show up. And every song they were throwing at me, I was, you know, I don't want to say it's perfect. It's never perfect. Phil played a certain way, and it wasn't Phil. So you try to emulate and bring what's the signature sound, the pick, the whole thing. And I was doing okay. I see people smile. I said, all right, cool.
You did your job, right?
I'm waiting for some other cats. I'm waiting for them to say, okay, cool. There's a few other cats coming in. Never happened. So I'm like, all right, cool. And then Brian, you know, he's checking me out. Very seldom did you get a smile from him. I love that guy. And his playing is legendary. And what an honor to be playing with him. And I'll always say that. But I said a little smirk, and I'm like, okay, cool. So then he threw some deep tracks at me. He wanted everybody to play. Let's try it. Okay, cool. I pulled my notes out, and I played. I mean, that's to say I was 90% there or whatever. Long story short, Scott and John come to me and said, you want to go to Japan? Boom. That was it. So Japan, what happened with Japan is we got on the map, on the global map, and then all the promoters from all over the planet started going, well, come here. We want this. We know that Phil's not there, but we love the music. We'll call it a tribute to Phil, whatever. Somewhere along the way, the tribute to Phil started fading because it's about the music at the end of the day, with all due respect to Phil. Whatever they captured, again, like Blue Murder, like Whitesnake and all these, whatever, it's magical, man, that moment that they capture on the vinyl shit, you know, it's just beautiful.
Can't take that away. When we're dead and buried, that music's gonna live forever.
Yes, and that's what the fans, they love the songs, man. Which is why a lot of bands are out there with no original players, but they're killing it. At the end of the day, the fans want to hear the songs, right? So
it's gotta be an aha moment when you're playing Boys Are Back in Town with that band. You know, you play. You gotta get goosebumps. I mean, really.
Yeah. And it was, for me, it was a learning experience. I learned so much about bass playing and playing with a cat like Brian who swings, man. He's got a big pocket.
Yeah.
He swings like big. You know about drumming. Big pocket swings. He's like a big band drummer, man. Very cool.
Now, obviously, you morphed into, because they wanted to release music, so you morphed into Black Star Riders.
Yes.
I think it hit full stride when Damon Johnson
came in.
That guy, why he isn't a superstar is beyond me.
Yeah.
He got screwed in Brother Kane when he started with that band was awesome. And of course, it got lost in the shuffle with grunge,
the label.
You know. Yeah. But I can't say enough about him.
The timing. Yeah, I know. Great talent.
And he's got a new band called Damon Johnson and the Get Ready. They sound phenomenal. It's crazy. This guy is super talented.
But anyway, too more. But you were asking me about highlights. The next thing that happened after Japan, guess what it was? It was playing in Dublin at Ireland. The Point in Dublin, in his hometown at the Point, playing tribute to Phil. It was the vibe for Philo.
And Ricky had to be happy about that too. He's from Ireland.
Ricky wasn't there yet. It was John Sutton.
Oh, you're talking about before then. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I missed you. So we went from Japan to that, and when we played that. I mean, Def Leppard was there. Everybody from Ireland was there paying tribute to Phil. Phil touched a lot of people, man. And
sadly, we've seen this movie before. Yeah. How it ended, you know, it's so sad, but it is what it is, and his music lives on forever. Yeah. You know,
but that was a big highlight, and from there we went You call all the festivals, we did them, and it was great.
Right.
Then Brian bailed, and then
And John,
no, John bailed, and then Darren bailed, and now it's a quartet with Tommy Aldridge, and it was great. We're still playing some nice cuts and all that. And then John, I think he just got tired of it.
yeah,
He just got tired of it. He says, "I'm not going." There was a big opportunity to open up, go out there with some huge bands. It doesn't matter the names of huge. Think of the biggest. And John, I wasn't there anymore. I had bailed. I was doing other stuff. But yeah, that's what it was. John got to the point where, it's got to mean more to him, I think.
yeah.
I think the set with Blue Murder he was right where he needs to be.
Yeah, that's in his wheelhouse. Well,
Yes.
Speaking of Sykes, then you ventured. You played with Ted Nugent after you left them, and then you wind up. Which I don't know why you never recorded with them. I have to ask you with Whitesnake.
Yes.
What?
Well,
I mean, what was the reason behind it? Were you hired as a touring bassist?
no. Well, no. I was approached when we did the Into the Light album. We had such a blast, and DC and I hit it off really hard, and then
Which was essentially a solo album.
it ended up being. It was supposed to be a band thing,
Yeah.
politics, business, all that.
Right.
I won't get into it. Doesn't matter.
All right, whatever.
But it ended up being a solo thing. But he had, he had a tour, the Restless Heart tour, I believe. And, let's go. We're all going. Okay, cool. Well, my father got diagnosed with cancer. They gave him 3 months to live.
All right.
So I couldn't imagine going out and bailing on DC in the middle of a tour. So I said, bro, this is the right thing. I need to be with my dad. Let's find a replacement. Tony Franklin came in. So that was it. But he said, Marco, you're doing the right thing. I love your heart. I love who you are. I respect that. You are my bass player. So you will be.
Take care of what you got to take care of. Come back.
And he stood behind his word. And so then we went out. As soon as we went out, there was a big buzz. That lineup was so strong, and we were all hanging out really well. It was very cool. And we all started writing. He's submitting. And I know for a fact that he got quite a few offers, but David he's a good businessman, David, DC. So he was waiting and waiting and waiting. And we were going and going and going. And I got an opportunity to work with Neil Sean. I got the call to do the Soul Circus thing. I also got back.
And Journey Through Time.
Well, that's recent.
Well, that's later on, yeah.
Yeah, but it was Soul Circus with Neil Sean, Jeff Scott Soto, Dean Casanova, and then later it was Virgil Donati. Wow, great band, man.
You can't get bigger names than that.
Amazing, man. I had a blast. So
And don't forget, Right Said Fred.
Yeah. That's another story. But so I get the call from Neil, and then DC took a long break, like a year and a half.
Yeah.
And I must have done something wrong. I stepped on some toes. I don't know what I did, but I took the job with Neil, and we started touring. And then after that, Dolores O'Riordan, the Cranberries, came up. I was working with her.
Rest in peace.
Solo album, Rest in Peace. And then also, John and the boys were winding down. We went out with Lizzy again. So I was busy. And,
right. And you got to earn a living. You don't have the
publishing and the writing coming in. Yeah.
Yeah. He's got it.
But in my opinion, and I think he called it, Marcos is a restless cat. He loves to play music and he needs to do what he needs to do. And I respect that. And we wish him well. That's who I am. You can imagine what I'm going through right now with the pandemic, man.
Yeah. So regarding Whitesnake, so do you think a bridge is burned there? You don't think there's going to happen?
For me?
Yeah.
With DC, with Whitesnake?
Yeah.
They have a great lineup, man.
I know. I'm just asking you because, I
get the call. I wouldn't say no.
Of course not. Of course not.
No, of course not.
Yeah.
But,
I wish there would have been some recordings there.
I know. Well, the live DVD is a great.
Yeah, originals.
What do you mean?
I'm saying original music.
There was, it was in the works, but I left and they didn't do anything until 6 years later, I think.
Yeah, 2008. Good to Be Bad.
I left in 5. It was 3 years. By
Yeah.
then, I had worked. I can't regret it, man. Look at the
No, of
the
course
work
you
that I did.
can't.
I did Soul Circus. I did three albums with Neil Sean.
Yeah.
Two albums, 2.5 albums with Dolores O'Riordan. We went out and recorded live with Thin Lizzy. What am I missing? I went back and covered for Greg Smith with Nugent.
And you did the tribute albums too.
I did. Wait a minute, Smoke and Mirrors. George
So,
Lynch,
you forgot George. You forgot Lynch Mob.
So all this was going on. I get approached by labels to do my solo stuff, and I had never had time to do Live for Tomorrow, Frontiers. So I did that. I mean, you can't regret.
Of course not. And that's what we're talking. I hear you. We're talking about that now. 2007, Live for Tomorrow. Let me mention some of the names that he's worked with. First of all, it's produced and written with Richie Kotzen.
Yes,
who is awesome. The voice, the guitar work, Winery Dogs, Poison.
Yes.
You know, solo albums.
The writing, the songwriting.
Sick.
He's insane. He's got it all, man. Yeah.
And then you had Steve Lukather, you had Ted Nugent, Doug Ulrich, one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Brian Tichy, Kotzen, just to name a few. That was your first solo album.
And my son, Marco.
And your son, your 35-year-old son?
Yes. He's older, much older. I keep him there. I say, honey, we're brothers. Okay, cool. Bro, wow. You know what it is? And I don't know if you identify with this, Rob. I'm not ready to be my age, bro. I have so much to do. That's the way I look at it.
I turned 50 last year.
Yeah.
And, I start to get now the old man jokes with the guys at work, and I'm like, you got to walk in my shoes. It's a privilege to be this age, bro.
Yeah. Yes.
You know what I mean?
They don't know.
They don't know what the fuck you went through. No. And then, I'm a young 50.
Yes, absolutely.
You know what I mean? Jesus Christ.
How about a young 85?
God willing, I doubt it, but I hope to live that long.
No, that's me. I was saying me.
Oh, you? I thought you wanted me to. Oh, so me to hell with me, right? I don't have to live.
I'm a young 85. I want to say
Viejo.
Eric from Lavalley. How are you, brother?
Yes. Wow. How you doing, Eric?
Good memories. Good memories.
Yeah. So you released that first album, and you toured with Neil. You had Neil Sean, Journey Through Time.
Oh, that was
later on. I'm trying to put them all together.
Yeah.
But what I want to talk about now is one of my favorite bands that you were involved with. You know who that is, right?
That Daisies.
Yes.
Of course. I'm not there anymore.
I know you're not there anymore. And I discussed this with you, and I'm going to say it again. I'm going to tell you at the end of Dead Daisies part of this interview.
Yes.
But Dead Daisies, to me, your work on there, your writing, your just when you're making the videos, when you're playing, that was when you added to that band. That is your wheelhouse. Yes. That is where I can see it in your face. I mean, I have yet to see you live in the setting with the solo project.
Yes.
But just the lineup that you had, the guys you were playing with.
Yes.
When you went to Cuba and you played the song Mexico, they all have hooks. They all have that blues-based rock. I mean, it's like,
yes.
Yes. But let's talk about some of the albums you did. The first one, Revolucion.
Revolucion, perfect. We
started
in Cuba, yeah. Very cool.
You did the video in Cuba.
Before Revolucion, there was an EP. Did you know that? The Face I Love with John Stevens.
John Stevens is an awesome vocalist.
And it's four original tracks, and then we did Helter Skelter in the studio. We just vibed it. And it was that lineup, too. I mean, Richard Fortus, Guns N' Roses.
Guns N' Roses. Dizzy Reed, Guns N' Roses.
Frank Ferrer,
Guns N' Roses.
It was GNR with a little bit of David Lowie and me thrown on the side, and John killing it. That band was killing it, bro. It was just
it was killing it. It was killing it.
Axl and Slash made up, and they
of course
boom, they were gone.
He just canceled his Hookers and Blow tour because they're going back out.
Yes.
So Axl calls, you got to go.
Yes, exactly.
And you had Brian Tichy on drums.
Yeah, Brian came in.
Doug Aldrich.
Brian kills it. Nobody better, man. He's for that environment, that kind of music.
That was him.
He just kills it, man.
When you take a song like Midnight Moses, and you make that a hit. I was like, where the fuck? When I heard that song, it was like some of your solo stuff. It gets, you know, when that song gets in you and you can't stop. I'm like, this song is what? Then I said, wait, I heard that song before. Yeah. I heard that song before. And it was a cover.
A little story. The first dinner we had with John, right?
Karabi.
With John Karabi, sir. I'm assuming everybody knows. It's John. You know John.
You know, the guy, in case anybody knows, the guy who replaced Vince Neil and Motley Crue.
Yeah.
That's going to be his claim.
Their first meeting, I called him, and Stevens was leaving. Whatever the reasons, again, doesn't matter. But I get a call from management. We need a singer, and we are already scheduled to go to Cuba. We have studio booked. We have this. We need a singer, man. Do you know people? Well, I live in LA. I worked with so many, and John, I gotta say, I'm being totally honest. He was on top of the list. Him and I have been doing the same circuit in Europe. We kept leaving messages for each other, man. Doing the same clubs. We're behind. He was on top of, and he was in my heart. And I always dug what he did. I always dug who he was as a person. And we met here and there. And he was in my head, man, top of the list. I called. This is true. He thinks we called a lot of people, but I called him, left a message, called me back.
Thank you, Kevin.
Yeah. And long story short, he called back within hours. He was at the grocery store. He called, how are you, Marco? What's up? Well, I told him what the deal was. I said, check it out, man. This could be really cool. This is, we're building a band with all the right folks, and you have to be part of this and all that. He thought about it, but then he decided, well, let's go have a meeting. And he came to LA. We had dinner, and we're all there. And so, have you guys heard this song? I swear to God, this is a true story. Have you heard this song?
Midnight Moses.
He played it on the phone.
Did you know the song?
No. I have to be honest.
To me, that's a Dead Daisies song now.
Not a lot of people. But that was John. That was all John. Not a lot of people knew it.
Underneath the green veranda.
Yes. And so he's playing it. And what I heard was this. Ba, 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 ba. My ears went. Bum, bum.
That's it. You're hooked.
That's bass. That's the groove. Wow. He says, maybe we could do this. So, yeah. So listen to us, man. We're like a little couple of fans.
That's who we are, bro. I told you cannot deny my enthusiasm. I got Marco Mendoza on my show. We're talking music, baby.
So we got together to go to Cuba. That was the first thing. And we were checking out singers. And Bernard Fowler from the Stones came in. Daryl Jones from the Stones came in. John Karabi came in. It was all a big celebration. Daryl had played with the Daisies, covered when I couldn't do some shows. I was actually the Dead Daisies were opening up for Black Star Writers in the UK. And I was hoping I could double dip, but I couldn't. There was politics involved. Anyway, so they brought Daryl, and he's another cat I have all the respect for, man. That where he's been a great journey. I respect him. He's a great human being. We hooked up in a big way. Anyway, so we went and did the Cuba thing, and the bottom line, Bernard, was tied up with the Stones, and so was Daryl, and they were going out soon, actually. So John had all the elements.
Hey, Darren.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to keep playing.
No, that's cool.
I got to say hello to him. But I'm listening.
Matthew Rosenblum, hello. Yes, I hope we get to play with Joey again, too. But long story short, John hit it out of the park.
Oh, so you need a bluesy singer.
So the first song in Cuba, we recorded in Cuba, Midnight Moses.
Boom. I like the video when you're in Cuba and the viejo and you're there and you're dancing with him and that one guy's playing the guitar, the older man.
Salsa.
You remember the video? Yeah. But you could tell you were like the go-to guy there because you were like showing everybody around, playing the music. But I got a question regarding the Dead Daisies because this has been set. Now, David Lowy. I'm sorry.
Low.
My drummer's name is Jerry Tui. I had that song stuck in my his name stuck in my head. Lowy, I'm sorry. Let's just say it. Loaded.
Yes.
loaded
Yes.
from his father.
Very successful businessman on his own. People don't know this.
Okay, yeah, he might be, but I'm saying his father, whatever. Okay.
Westfield is his thing, his baby. Believe it or not.
Okay. So they were saying that he put his money up and he formed that band and all the band pick and choose whoever he wants. It's sort of like Mark Cuban with the Dallas Mavericks.
Yes.
He has a basketball team,
Yes. Wouldn't you do that?
Of course. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. I'm just and you know what? Get me Marco Mendoza on the phone. I want him to play.
It wasn't like that.
Doug Aldrich.
It wasn't like that. It was not like that. It was handpicked, person to person. And the connection was this, real fast. We were doing the last run with Thin Lizzy that would be with Brian, with Darren, Brian Downey, Darren Wharton, Scott Gorham, Damon Johnson, Ricky Warwick, and myself. We were on tour in Australia with Motley Crue and Kiss, that package. The opening band was David Lowy with his band. So I used to come to the arenas. We were doing huge arenas, Kiss, man. Amazing.
Right.
And,
you don't see all my medal, you can't see it. I get all my memorabilia here.
And then Nicky, I got to hang with Nicky. I really got to respect him, give him a lot of respect and love, man. That cat. Anyway, so we got to hang. But every time we come into the arena, because we would do our sound check, we were down on the totem pole there. The other band, we would do our sound check, and then the other band would get in, and they'd start playing some great hooks, good songs. They had this girl playing bass and singing, and her wife was a guitar player, and he was the other guitar player with the drummer, and they had good songs, and they sounded great. And I'm like taking a peek every time they're doing sound check. Wow, that sounds cool. Long story short, it was 7 shows. By the 6th show, the last show, his manager, who is now the Daisies band, David Edwards, came in to our dressing room and said, "Marco, I'm so and so. I'm working with David Lowy, and we're wondering if you'd be interested in collaborating. We like what you do, who you are, la la la. And some music. We have an album, and we might want to go out. We might want to go out and do some live shows. So we'll send you some tracks." Said, yeah. 2 weeks went by. Got home. And I can't tell you how many times I talk business in those situations and nothing happens. 19 out of 20.
Right. You're like, yeah, okay, whatever.
So
show me the do-re-mi.
Yeah, you're like with a grain of salt and all that. And so then all of a sudden I get an email from Edwards. These are the tracks. And I heard that voice. I heard John Stevens sing. I went, whoa.
Your ears perked up.
I looked them up on YouTube. Whoa, live. Whoa. And the songs that they wrote, and and then the next thing I hear is, long story short, I know I'm talking a lot, but
no, of course you do what you got to do.
The next thing I hear is, we have an opportunity to do a run with Aerosmith. Another bell.
There you go. I'm in. But what I want to say is, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart, that band was your wheelhouse because you got to write with them.
Yeah.
You got to show your songwriting skills, backing vocals, great bass playing, great albums. Okay. Yeah. You did Revolucion, Make Some Noise, the Live and Louder album, and Burn It Down.
Yes.
Okay. Now, here's where the fan comes out of me.
Yes.
And this is
I know what you're going to say.
I know. No disrespect to Glenn Hughes.
Yes.
But he changed the whole dynamic of the band when Glenn Hughes came in. Karabi's gone. You're gone. Castronovo is gone. Doug Ulrich is the last man standing.
And David Lowy.
And well, of course, it's his band. He's not going anywhere.
Right.
And I love Doug.
Me
but
too.
As a fan, I can honestly say I think he's the next one to go. And I don't know.
You saying Doug is the next one to go?
Yeah, it's just like he seems to like replacing everybody.
Well, no, that's another thing.
And this is no disrespect to him. I'm not disrespecting anyone. And I love Glenn Hughes. That's not a dead daisy. That's a live daisy.
Sunflower. I love the sun. But bro,
I love Glenn Hughes. But it's essentially, it's like, it's just different.
This is how it happened. Real fast. We were working so much I think we were working really hard. I can see it in the pictures. I can see it in the videos. We were fried. We were working maybe a little too much, in my opinion. But when you get something like that going, you go for it, man. Right? You'll rest whenever you rest, and the whole thing. So the one that's going to get more beat up than anybody is who?
Glenn.
No. Back then.
Oh, yourself.
No.
Well, you're saying when you're touring.
When you're touring and you're going, we were doing morning shows. We were doing acoustic sets and at the guitar.
Yeah,
center.
you guys did a lot of interviews as well.
We did an acoustic show at the venue for 50 fans. We did a two-hour set, and then meet and greets. It's like boom. And because we had, because we had the benefit of a private plane at G5, which is very cool, we could cover a lot of ground.
Right.
And we did. So the first one that's going to suffer is who? You said it.
Your voice.
Yeah,
and
not
you.
mine. No, I'm not. I'm BBing, man. I'm background. Who?
Oh, John. Yeah.
And John started, talking and saying, "Guys, can we just slow down a little bit?" And he just said, "I got to take a rest." That's bottom line.
He's going to blow his voice out. He's going to ruin his career.
Exactly. And that he verbatim, that's what he said quite a few times. And he wasn't listened to and whatever, but we were all getting beat up at the same time.
So you're saying that it was his decision to leave?
To leave. And that created the whole.
Okay.
So when he said at the beginning of 19, I'm out of here, management and everybody started looking around to see what we could do. And they kept me in the loop a little bit, but management and David Lowy, they had some things and they were talking. It doesn't matter who they talked to, but they were talking some big names and big,
right.
We got on the map, man, in a good way, but nothing was coming back solid. So it's April. At the beginning of 19, I heard that was happening. That's when I said, okay, I better pay attention to my solo thing. And when they say they need me back, I will just stop booking and come back. And that's what I was thinking. So I get the call. I was in Germany. And to my surprise, I'm getting invited everywhere, Rob, everywhere now with my Casa Mendoza album.
That's doing.
With Viva La Rock, I'm sorry.
Viva La Rock.
The Viva La Rock, the last one. And so I'm like, I'm digging it. I'm like, that's my wheelhouse as well. Because I get to play my songs. I get to sing my songs at the front. And I would take it a little bit on the blues side. I would take it here and that, whatever. I was having a blast. Of course, we're talking about smaller clubs. We're talking about really getting in the trenches again. But I loved every minute of it. So I get the call it was April, I remember, from David Lowy. He says, Marco, we can't get anybody, man. Because I was checking in. I said, what's going on? Keep me posted so I won't book anything and bail. Which is another story now with the pandemic. It's crazy. But so he calls, we're not getting anybody, but Glenn Hughes got on the radar. How would you feel if we called him? I said, absolutely. He says, we're going to try and have him just come in and sing.
But I was going to say, hold on a second. You're a bass player and they want Glenn Hughes. Glenn Hughes has never just sung. He's played bass and sang his whole life.
Yeah, but I think in a small way, that was David Lowy's way of saying, I really appreciate you're part of this. But we kind of need to check this out. And I said, absolutely. Go check it out. I wouldn't want to get in the way of this thing moving forward after all the work we've done, man. And I'm talking blood, sweat, and tears.
Right. You're being respectful and you're doing the right thing.
And I'm
never burn your bridges.
Never. But I'm being fulfilled with my solo.
Right. You were getting calls for that and you're doing very well with it. So that was one door closes, another door opens.
Yeah. And I was really I was having a good time.
Right.
So the timing was perfect. And then they say, and then 3 weeks later, they got together. The vibe was good. They jammed, and then he calls me back. Says, "We're gonna give this a try, but keep it below, off the radar. We want to make a real press release. We want to do a real press release and announce, and that ended up being in August when we officially said John and myself are out. But that's what happened, You know what,
Marco? I appreciate your honesty, and I am so glad I got to speak to you because there's and I ask those questions because as a fan, and like I said, absolutely no disrespect to anyone involved. No. I'm just saying regarding the chemistry and what I hear on those 4 albums, you know, it's sort of like I'm going to give you for instance. I'm a big Dio Black Sabbath fan.
Yeah.
When Ian Gillan sang on Black Sabbath, when they came out with that album, you're like, what the hell is this? It's like completely different. Now, you know what I mean? So it's going to take some getting used to. And I was only speculating about Doug. Understand that.
But they did the right thing by changing it to Heaven and Hell when Ronnie came out. Now, you know what I mean?
Oh, of course. That's going to be his involvement, and Ozzy has his song.
So the truth of the matter is when a singer has strong, legendary status,
the voice of rock.
The voice of rock comes in, it's going to change.
Yeah. It's going to take them a while to get the fans to get used to it.
Yeah, but it's going to change.
I'm not saying the songs are bad.
I love the album.
Yeah, Holy Ground. Ronnie, Marco, we have a couple of questions from the fans. I wanted to get in before we talk about your new project. This fan is Kerry, which I don't think she knows what we just discussed. Any news on the new album? Are you meaning Marco's new solo album? I think that's what she means. Your new solo album. You could answer that when we talk about your stuff.
Yes.
In a couple of minutes.
Stay tuned.
Regarding the Dead Daisies.
Buddy, come here. This is my son. Say hi, Max.
Where is he? Marco.
No, this is Max.
Max, how you doing, Max?
He can't hear you.
Yeah, I can. I can hear him.
You can?
You know, I used to have hair just like you. Look what you got to look forward to.
Isn't he beautiful?
Yes. He must look just like your wife.
Say hi. My wife, yeah. Just say hi.
Is this Leah?
Yeah. This is my wife, Leah. Hi, baby.
Leah, see, that explains what he looks like.
Exactly.
Leah, I got to tell you, and I told Marco this, I'm a huge fan of his.
Yeah.
The song Leah, I mean, it's like an earworm in my ears over the past 2 weeks. I took it a different way, and I apologized to him. I thought it was about someone that passed, and it kind of tugged at my heartstrings. I guess, you know, any song people interpret in different ways.
Emotional.
That's how I interpret it.
I've come and gone, so you weren't totally gone.
No. But it's great meeting you, and your
you.
Son is the spitting image of you.
Oh, thank you.
He's beautiful.
Okay. I was gonna say either that or it was the milkman's kid. But
they're going to. They got some appointments, but we're busy, man. Busy people right here.
Yes. So
I was going to say. I can explain about the song. We said we were going to talk about that. I'll give you some
just one. I'm sorry, Marco. One other question I got
because
we're going to move on from the Dead Daisies. This gentleman wants to know. Well, it's a general question. Are you still using ESP basses? Any effect pedals? Alfredo Carvajal.
Alfredo Carvajal. I use very little. I try to stay away from pedals for a lot of reasons, but you know, occasionally when I play my fretless, I use a little bit of delay chorus and a little bit of verve, only to give it more nuance. And when it comes to the big stage, with the projects that I'm playing, it's seldom needed because, you know, it's not needed. We're playing the classic 70s, 80s rock, and the tone needs to come from the bass and then the front of house and the monitor guys love me for that because then they can do the effects and
right. They do it.
Yeah, and they do it better, and it sounds amazing and all that. So I try to keep my life simple. I go from the 5/6 to the 4 whenever needed. I'm playing more 5 now because of.
That was one of my questions.
Okay, go ahead.
No. I'm saying that was one of my questions. 4 or 5. At the end of the interview, I do something called this and that. You got to pick one. That was one of my questions. Well, go ahead. I just got 2 more questions that I want to do.
Yes, I am playing ESP basses. I have a signature bass, the MM4, that nobody knows about. I wish they did. It's a beautiful bass. I stand behind it. We designed it together. It's a killer bass band. Think about this. You know, we come from the same place. 1 volume knob, 1 tone knob. Does that say anything?
Does it go up to 11 like in Spinal Tap?
It's always 11.
But these go to 11. That's funny. I got 2 more questions, and we're going to go to your latest project.
Yeah.
They want to know. Mike wants to know "Wuthering Heights" with John Sykes. John sang that.
Yeah.
Yeah, he wanted to know if you sang it.
No.
Yeah, John sang that, Mike.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember. I might have done some background vocals. It's so long ago, I don't remember. I just remember I was all jazz. We were having fun. Tommy Osteen also sang. Great voice.
He said, Alfredo said, thanks for your answer. Yeah, that's great. Yes, last question, which was one of mine anyway. Is there anyone you haven't played with that you would like to play with?
Oh, man. Jeez. Imagine being in a band with Paul McCartney.
Well, what are you going to do?
Whatever, man.
He's going to kick you out before you join because he plays the bass.
No. Check out his shows. He plays piano. He plays
guitar, piano. Okay, so you want to play the bass?
I'm talking about what's out there right now. That's one. But I have to throw in there Aerosmith. Amazing.
They haven't done anything, man.
Well, you got to wait, man. I think 22, I'm sorry. 22 is going to be the year where pop. So as far as my solo album's concerned, for the lady that asked, I forgot who she was.
Carrie.
We had planned on releasing that summer of 20, May, June. I was flying to Denmark, to Copenhagen, to work with Soren in February, and we know what happened. So everything shut down. I just got back from Denmark working on that album, and I don't mind saying, man, it's going to be there's some great songs there. Great playing. I got chills.
I got to tell you.
Talk about a ballad. Talk about the ballad.
I got to say this.
Something that was written with Tommy Aldridge and Doug Aldridge. Killer. But anyway, I got chills.
Now, okay, 2 things.
So to finish, we have so much, man. We're fans. It's scheduled, not officially, but we're going to try and release it either December or January of 22. Okay.
Good. What I got to say is regarding your new project, Viva La Rock. First off, you have an amazing voice.
Thank you.
I mean, really, you really do. Now,
Thank you.
I hear in your voice, it's a mix between Doug Pinnick and Jesus Christ. Lenny Kravitz, I'm sorry. Doug Pinnick, Lenny Kravitz.
Wow.
That's what I hear.
Wow.
That's what I hear in your voice.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
Like,
I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of both cats. I love Doug and what he did, man.
Yeah.
And of course, Lenny Kravitz.
Yes, that's what I hear in your voice. Viva La Rock is a great straight ahead rock song. And what I was talking about before, and I'm not too keen on ballads, but this song that you wrote for your wife, who we just met, beautiful person,
Leah.
Leah. If anybody wants to go and you want to hear a song that would tug at your heartstrings and you could just hear the raw emotion that Marco is singing, I mean, you could tell how deeply he is in love with this person.
Yes.
Get this album just on that, and you will not be disappointed. I mean, the song Leah, it's been in my stuck. You know when you get a song stuck in your head? That's that song. It's like, wow, you can't get more emotion in a song than you did. Bro. Yes. Yes. But
let me tell you something about it, because your opinion about why it was the motive behind it.
Right.
I was traveling. It was 18. I was traveling. I was 17. It was 2017. I was traveling so much. Like we were talking about the Dead Daisies. We were traveling so much, working.
Yeah.
And then I was doing
in a private jet.
And then we were doing the Journey Through Time thing in between. And I was doing other albums. And I was just nonstop traveling all over the globe, literally. I got to Copenhagen, and all of a sudden we had 12 days to finish this album. And it was the end of day number 9 and 10. I was fried. I was having a good time, being creative, and we were getting some great results. Like I said, Soren and I just hit it off. We're like two kids in a candy store. Oh, let's try that. Let's try that. Oh, that works.
That's like us during the interview. We both have this personality, and we're so excited, bouncing all over the place.
That's Soren and me.
But that's a good thing.
So it's day number 10, and we had day number 11. We had 12 days booked in the studio. He had to do other work. I had a tour to start day 12. In the morning, I had to fly out. So it's 11. And we look at the board and we're going, the ballad, we got to put a ballad in. And I swear to God, it was like that. He says, well, I've had this chord structure, man. What do you think? When he started playing, everything in my heart and my soul, my mind
just
went
poured out.
I miss my wife.
And you got goosebumps.
I miss how we started dating. I miss who she is. She is in my soul. She's part of my blood. She's everything that I.
You want to be there with her so bad. You want to be in her embrace.
And exactly. And my kids, my home, our little home. We have a great life together. And exactly. So I started writing. It just poured out, bro. And even Soren had to stop when we were doing the vocals because I was
getting choked up.
I was crying like a little baby girl.
Nothing wrong with that.
No. So the emotions that you hear were true, and they were.
And I hear it. And I hear it.
And Soren was really smart. He said, "Bro, let's do it. Let's capture that. Let's capture it." I said, "But I can't. That's all right. Take a minute. I'm getting chills again. Take a minute. This is good. This is good. This is how sensitive he is." And he captured it. I left. Right in the morning, I flew out. I had a gig in Germany with my trio, and then he sends me the song a week later, and I'm like, wow! I was blown away.
Says, then you got the compliments pouring in. Viva La Rock is an awesome album. Those songs are so emotively. It's a beautiful song.
Thank you.
That song's a home run. My goal is I hope you play the New York area. I really would love to see you live.
We're hoping, brother.
Of course. I mean, fingers crossed. And I'd love to hear that song live and the other songs live.
I don't know if you've seen my postings, but I have some.
Every one of them.
I got some dates coming up at the end of June in the UK.
Yeah. I posted it on my page.
And then Denmark right after that. And then Czech Republic, Holland, Belgium. But right now, because of the pandemic, it's falling apart.
I know. And you know what, Marco? Because we're going to wrap this up.
Yes.
It's Frontiers Records. I love them. And I say this a lot. I say it a lot.
Yeah.
They do great promotion business overseas. There's the market in around here, and we have to blame us as fans. You can't bring these bands over, and we can't tour regarding them. I told this to Johnny Gioeli from Hardline.
Yeah.
That's a great band. Yeah, you played with Neil Sean. That was his brother-in-law.
Yeah.
They can't play over here. To bring everything over here to play, you got to make sure you're guaranteeing these fans. Us as fans, we have to support it. That's why you don't download off of YouTube. Support the artist. It pisses me off.
Bro, that downloading thing is beyond our control now. It's over. I say download. If you dig it, come to the show. That's it. And buy some more swag. You got to support the industry.
Yeah, you're the exception to the rule.
If you don't support the industry, the industry will disappear. And the next generation. And
it's called the music business for a reason.
Yeah.
You put your heart and soul into those songs,
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
No, it's all right.
And you're, the next day your album's up on YouTube.
Yes.
It's tough. I know you make your living off of touring and merch. Most people don't know that, but it's just frustrating as an artist.
You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy
when skies are gray.
You never
know, dear, how much
I love you. Please don't take my sunshine away.
And just so you know, boys and girls,
hi, Mickey. Hi, Mickey.
Oh boy, we are both sober.
It's the residues, man. Hallucinogenics residues.
Hallucinogenics. All right. Well, listen.
Yes, sir.
Marco, it's been a blast. You come as advertised. You're part of the Rock Shop family. I say that all the time. You can come back anytime.
Let's do an update soon because I got some cool stuff to talk about.
Say the word.
Yeah.
I'm there. But I got one thing I do now. It's called this or that.
Yeah.
I'm going to throw some songs or people. Thank you very much. Who's this? This was Ronnie. Thank you, Ronnie. Kerry, thanks. Scott. Just one. Tell Marco Scott is here for him to help promo the new forthcoming album, Guitars Forever. You have a new album come out, Guitars Forever?
I do.
I don't know. That's what he said.
Did I play on the track? I played.
Yeah. Yeah. How was he spoke about his time in Lynch Mob. Dennis. Yeah. So here's the this or that. You ready?
Yes.
Sykes or Sean?
Oh, don't do that. Both. Absolutely.
You guys, you rock stars. When I start throwing these out, you always toe the company line.
Apple
and they say both.
Oranges.
It's called this or that.
Because it's the cream of the crop, man. You can't touch it.
Well, what do you think I'm going to say? I'm not going to pick some amateur.
Now, I've worked with Neil and I worked with John, and they were both a blast, and they are just legendary cats.
Yes, man. And you work with some of the best, And you answered this, but I want to say, pick or fingers? Fingers. Dedos.
Pero that I've learned.
Solamente.
I've learned to pick, man, and I know how to get around with that too.
Yes.
I dig it. It's a different mentality, but I dig it.
All right. Cat Scratch Fever or Kittens Got Claws?
Did
you ever play that song live with Whitesnake?
I don't think we did, but it's a good track.
I don't think you did either, but that's a track.
Cat Scratch.
Cat Scratch Fever.
Another cat. The best.
All right.
I've been so lucky, right? Jeez.
You have been lucky. Very. Okay. Here's the last one. Revolution by the Dead Daisies or Revolution by the Beatles?
Oh, I'm a Beatles fan, bro. I'm a Beatles fan. They're the reason. Abbey Road is the reason why I play music today.
I can't tell you how many people say that. You know,
it's true. It's true.
Crazy. Crazy. And
Abbey
to think
Road,
they played with no floor monitors.
Exactly. With Super
As a
Beatles
musician.
in the back. Super Beatles in the back.
Right.
So the Beatles and my grandmother, Maria Luisa de Mendoza, is the reason why I play music today.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I can't say enough about Marco Mendoza. What a great guy, great family man. Sober 35 years. We want to stress that. He's keeping it all together. Good things are coming to him. Yes. I wish him nothing but continued success, health, and happiness.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
You too.
And if you want to find Marco, go to his website, www.marcomendoza.com.
Yes.
Thanks, Artie. And he has his solo project out, Viva La Rock. He has so many. Just go on his page. It's on my page too. Everywhere. Go on his site. You can see all his music, his videos. You can tell you where you can get some merch, where you can buy his CDs. Everything is up there. And he's completely accessible on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, wherever you name it, he's out there.
Yes.
But Marco, it's been a blast, and I hope to talk to you soon.
Pronounce your last name, Senor Vitale.
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 Well, it's Vitale in Italian, but Vitale is the correct Latin pronunciation.
Vitale.
And when
gracias, señor. Español, Latino, y Italiano.
It's similar. That's how I adapted, and I can hold a conversation.
Cool.
But when you come to New York, I got to take you for some good food. I got to take you out for the best pizza you'll ever eat.
New York is the place.
Exactly, because you can't have pizza in LA. You got to have pizza in New York.
Well, I might have my daughter moving to New York, so there's a lot of reasons to go there. So
okay, great. But stay on for 1 second. I want to speak to you.
You got it.
Thanks everybody for tuning in. It's going to be It's on the page now. You can view it anytime.
Please listen to Viva La Rock as much as you can.
That's what I stressed. Viva La Rock.
Peace.